All right, everyone. Trump has suggested he has complete power to pardon, which is more or less true. He appears to have been using this in reference only to Jeff Sessions, who might not even need a pardon. It doesn't seem he actually did anything illegal. But some people are making a little bit of a logical leap, and they're using the usual unnamed sources to say, oh, he means he's going to pardon himself or something like that. Here's the situation as it boils down to legally. The Constitution does give the president the power to pardon, except in the case of impeachment. Importantly, nobody currently has active impeachment proceedings against Trump. The House has not taken up such proceedings. In theory, he thus could at least make the legal argument that he's able to pardon himself. Like if Trump did commit a crime, in theory, he could, and it's not clear that anyone would be able to block that. Like, the judiciary can't just unilaterally weigh in and say, no, you can't do that with any great degree of ease. The legislature can't do anything about it. But there's a hidden facet here that people need to understand, I think. And the hidden part is this. Like what we saw with the federal judge of the Ninth Circuit, blocking permanently, issuing essentially an injunction against Trump's executive rights and privileges in the case of the temporary travel ban. A temporary immigration ban from certain countries. Now, there was a legal precedent set showing he had that power to do a temporary and limited stopping of refugee movements and immigrants from these places. He does have that power. Despite the obvious fact, though, that he does, the federal judge issued an injunction, forcing the Supreme Court to get involved. The federal judge did not have the right to issue such an injunction on something that is clearly an executive power, but could anyway, in blatant disregard of that legal situation, simply because the judge is capable of physically issuing it. Unfortunately, that means it has to be obeyed even if it itself is illegal, and this is a problem at some times within our system. If Trump were to pardon himself, even if it were unlawful for him to do so, it would still act as a pardon. Likewise, though, here's the hidden secret. Congress could then remove him from office without an actual legitimate reason why they wanted to remove him. They could trump up, pardon the pun, any impeachment proceedings they wanted, ram it through, send it up, get him removed from office, and they don't need a legitimate reason to do so. Congress, technically, has the power to remove a president without reason, simply because they have the ability to undergo those impeachment and removal proceedings. Now, they're supposed to have a legitimate reason, an actual charge that they can show to general satisfaction that some wrongdoing has been committed. But they don't technically need to. They can turn it into a kangaroo court with great ease, and there is no other body that's capable of stopping them from doing so. So if Trump, I don't believe for a second, I am extremely skeptical that Trump ever alluded to some staffer saying, oh yeah, I'm wondering if I have the ability to pardon myself. If he mentioned it at all, it was probably meant as a joke. I don't think that Trump actually thinks that would be a good idea. And that's the other part. Something can be legal but be a bad idea. For example, under the decriminalization system, I can't remember, was it Oregon? I think it was. For some hard drugs, yeah, it's technically, it's no longer specifically illegal now to smoke a small amount of crack, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea to do so. Things can be, it's legal to climb this mountain and jump off without meaning to kill yourself, because suicide somehow is illegal, the most unenforceable legalese ever. You can, but it's a bad idea. Yeah, you can go parachuting and not pull the parachute cord, but I think there might be a problem with it. There are all sorts of things you can do that are not good ideas to do. And stop eating, waste away. You can drink too much, you can smoke or whatever. It's legal to do so, but it's not a good idea. Trump would be well warned, I think, not to abuse his ability to pardon people. Like if he were to start pardoning his son or Jeff Sessions or something, it would make him look guilty. Even if it doesn't touch him, even if he's not the one embroiled in scandal, that would just be taken as evidence that, oh yeah, he really is, he's a Russian pawn or something like that, because At this point, the legacy media's strategy is just to tell the same lie long enough for people to believe it. And that's basically what it boils down to. So far, we've had lots and lots of investigation and leaks, and we've still got zero evidence Trump himself colluded with anybody. We have reason to believe that people around him showed poor judgment and did things that were not great idea, not necessarily illegal, but unethical, certainly. And that appears to be the case with Sessions, possibly with Trump's own son. But that doesn't mean that Donald Trump himself specifically did anything wrong. He may not have even been aware that this was going on, in which case Congress can't, specifically speaking, in a legal sense, they can't impeach him for that because he did nothing wrong. They can, but they can't. It gets into one of these complicated sort of situations where a body has the power to do something that's blatantly unlawful simply because nobody else can stop them from doing so. That would be potentially the case with Trump pardoning himself. It's like if he were to pardon Sessions today, it would show, yeah, indeed, Sessions did something Trump feels to be potentially illegal and wants to shield him from that. That would be wonderful. I believe also, though, if he's pardoned, he can't take the fifth, if I remember correctly, which means he could be compelled to testify. If Trump does choose to pardon any of these individuals, it will show me something. It will show me that Trump is confident in the fact that no scandal can touch him, either because he's uninvolved or covered himself really well. Probably the former. I don't believe the Russia bullshit. And doesn't worry if those around him testify or are asked about Trump's own dealings. It's like with this investigation going on looking into Trump's finances. Trump appears to be taking no actual steps to stop it. He comes out and says, "Oh, well, maybe I should do something about this and block you," but he doesn't actually do that. That's because he's just talking a big game for his core fans. Meanwhile, he's not actually worried about the investigation because he did nothing wrong. That's what it looks like. Trump's behavior is the behavior of someone who has done nothing wrong but has a big ego and really, really likes to threaten others. That's my reading of the situation. Somebody who knows he can't really reasonably get in trouble for anything because he did nothing wrong and simply is using it as an opportunity to browbeat people who think he did something wrong. And when it all plays out, if that turns out to be the case, if I'm right, if it turns out that this investigation turns up zero evidence that Trump colluded with or organized with Russians or anybody else under the sun and did nothing specifically wrong, this case is going to implode right in the Democrats' face. Because it robs them of the one platform they're using, which is Trump is evil and despicable. And what will happen is the much Trump is bigoted line will take a backseat to the Trump is a Russian agent line. When the mythology, thus, that he is torn apart, it's all anybody will be talking about. His fans will immediately go online and everywhere else to laugh about it and browbeat and shame those that ever believed those claims. But this is assuming, of course, that I'm right and Trump is not colluding with the Russians. I don't think he is. I'm sorry, but you've got this many investigations, this many other people around him caught up in leaks or disclosures or anything else under the sun. And so we know some of these people have done some dirty dealings, but none of it has ever linked anything to Trump. That almost, in my mind, the fact that things are so open and transparent, involuntarily, much like with the NSA leaks under Obama, and this, by the way, isn't a bad thing. People deserve to know what's going on. The fact that there's so much transparency involving what these people are up to, and Trump himself is never once mentioned, shows me that all these people are maybe part of a club that is colluding with Russia, and Trump's not part of that club. In which case it makes sense he would say, "Oh, I regret appointing Sessions. No, I had no choice but to fire Flynn," and he uses Pence as an excuse to do that. Probably. Now, he's setting up things around him so that he can let people go that he doesn't want around him without those people biting him in the back because he has plausible deniability about why he's getting rid of them. I'm sorry, but, I still believe in you, Jeff, or I still believe in you, Mike Flynn, or something. But public pressure is going to force me to let you. You got to resign. If you don't, I'm going to have no choice but to let you go. No hard feelings. It's really out of my hands, and he's playing this game quite well. So yeah, he has complete power to pardon. He has the power to pardon potentially even himself, but it wouldn't be a good idea unless he's undergoing active impeachment proceedings. If Congress begins the impeachment process, he can no longer even potentially pardon himself. If Congress is attempting to impeach some other individual, he can't pardon them. It's the one thing the president can't lay his hands to. But if there's no actual proceeding, can he preemptively pardon himself so they can't really use it as an excuse to impeach? It's not clear that he can. I don't think he would do that because I don't think he has anything specifically to pardon himself for, though. I mean, it'd be mad. It would be lunacy to actually think it was a good idea. I like to think Trump has more strategic thinking than that. That's about all. Peace out.